need to figure that out. About chat. Copy that URL. And I need to change the doc settings. Custom browser doc. Okay. Okay. Welcome back, guys. I was struggling with YouTube. I will need to figure out how you schedule live events, and the encoder just matched with it because for whatever reason it didn't work. So unfortunately, I have something that happened to me. I broke my microphone. I don't know if you can see it. It was a Samsung Meteor mic, and I ripped apart the ports. So unfortunately, I don't have a mic. So I will use for now the newer portable one of my girlfriend. And when I'm gonna move to Martinique next month, I will use the microphone of my laptop, which will not be great, but while waiting for the new microphone, because as I said previously, I live in the Caribbean and it takes so much time to have something delivered here. So I already ordered it and I just have to wait. So for now, I'm gonna use after that session, I will use the microphone of the laptop. So sorry for the bad voice quality. So previous stream, learning C to build my own stuff. I start with let me close that. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay. So in the previous live stream, I read the introduction of this book, which is C Programming: A Modern Approach. It covers CD9 and C99. So the first chapter we talked about the origin of C, why it was created, what was before, and what it is now at that time, and how you should use it, the fact that you should have a style guide when you write your code for it, a convention basically. You have to adopt a convention for the code to be read by somebody else, and some tools you can use to be a better programmer. So having a debugger, linter, and stuff like that. So after the previous live stream, I installed an LSP. It is a language server protocol. I didn't go deep into it to see exactly what it is, but basically it covers autocomplete and stuff like that to help you writing your program. I will try it. So I'm not a fan of having too much add-on while you starting learning, but I installed it for now and configure Vim for it, and we will see. So I don't have syntax highlighting on my code because it's really disturbing to me for now. So maybe if I found a good theme allows me to have something really nice, but too much color, I really don't like it. So in this stream, we're gonna go over the chapter 2 when we're gonna start to write some C code. So let me make sure my editor is here. Okay, I'm gonna go to the programming folder, go C, and chapter 2. So I have, let me show you. Very fun. Yes. So I create just a basic template with some information I had on each file. It's for me to be able to after that maybe create a script that will allows me to see all the exercise in the chronological order. And yeah, it was cool to do that, just what it is. So yeah, whoa, let's get started, guys. Let's continue the reading. Let me take a sip of coffee. And let's get started. Okay, so this chapter introduced several basic concepts, including pre-processing directives, function, variables, and statement that we'll need in order to write even the simplest program. Oh, sorry for the mic. Later, let me just mute down the music a bit. Okay. So later chapters will cover these topics in much great detail. To start off, section 2.1 presents a small C program and describe how to compile and link it. Section 2.2 then discuss how to generalize the program, and section 2.3 show how to add explanatory remarks known as comments. Section 2.4 introduce variables which store data that may change during the execution of a program, and section 2.5 show how to use the scanf function to read data into variables. Constants, data that won't change during program execution, can be given names as section 2.6 shows. Finally, section 2.7 explains C's rule for creating name identifiers, and section 2.8 gives the rule for laying out the program. Okay. Okay, let's start with the section 2.1, writing a simple program. In contrast to programs written in some languages, C programs require little boilerplates. A complete program can be as short as a few lines. Printing upon. The first program in Kernighan enriches classic. The C programming language is extremely short. It does nothing but write the message "Hello World," the famous "Hello World" sentence. Unlike other C authors, I won't use this program as my first example. I will, however, uphold another C tradition, the bad pun. Here's the pun. To see or not to see, that is the question. I already love this dude. Okay. The following program, which we'll name pun.c, the file I already created because I read the first the beginning of the part of this thing. Display this message each time it runs. Okay, so we have dash include stdio. Okay, let's start writing some program. Cool. Okay, this is the chapter 2, and I don't know, this is section 2.1. Oh no, I'm not gonna put that here. 1, writing. The bad pun. Okay. Oh, yeah. I will need to find a way to make that less a pain in the ass because this is ridiculous. I'm doing right now, but okay. So let's start with the include. Yeah, this is the autocomplete I was talking about. But if I press S, no. But I cannot autocomplete that stuff. I need to understand how it works. Include stdio.h. Its main void. In the chapter when we talked about the new convention of C99, when you use int, main, and void instead of main, and in the first version of C. So yeah, I need to figure out what that means. I don't have any idea of what it is. Okay, so I'm gonna printf to to see or not to see? That is the question. Okay. My keyboard layout is so bad. I have an MSI Katana. I really don't like the layout of the keyboard. I flinch all the time. Oh, return 0. Oh yeah, it flashes me with error. Okay, yeah, that's why it makes the make it easier to write programs, because the LSP just show me in red here. Can be cool. Okay. And section 2.2. Section 2.2 explain the form of this program in some details. For now, I'll just make a few brief observations. The line hash include stdio is necessary to include information about C standard input-outputs library. The program's executable code goes inside main, which represent the main program. The only line inside main is a command to display the desired message. Printf is a function from the standard I/O library that can produce nicely formatted outputs. The invert/n code tells printf to advance to the next line after printing the message. The line return 0 indicates that the program returns the value 0 to the operating system when it terminates. Okay. So, compiling and linking. Despite its brevity, getting pon.c to run is more involved than you might expect. First, we need to create a file named pon.c containing the program. Any text editor will do. The name of the file doesn't matter, but the .c extension is often required by compilers. Next, we've got to convert the program to a form that the machine can execute. For a C program, that usually involves 3 steps. Pre-processing. The program is first given to a preprocessor which obeys commands that begin with hashtag. That's hashtag, I don't remember. Known as directives. A preprocessor is a bit like an editor. It can add things to the program and make modifications. Compiling. The modified program now goes to a compiler, which translates it into a machine instruction, object code. The program isn't quite ready to run yet, however. What the hell? Linking. In the final step, a linker combines the object code produced by the compiler with any additional code needed to yield a complete executable program. This additional code includes libraries functions like printf that are used in the program. Fortunately, this process is often automated, and so you won't find it too onerous. In fact, the preprocessor is usually integrated with the compiler, so you probably won't even notice it at work. The commands necessary to compile and link vary depending on the compiler and operating system. Under Unix, the C compiler is usually named CC. To compile and link pon.c, the pon.c program, enter the following command in the terminal all command line window. cc.pon. Okay, cc.pon.c. Okay. The percentage character is a Unix prompt, not something that you need to enter. Linking is automatic when using CC. No separate link command is necessary. After compiling and linking the program, C leaves that executable program in a file name a.out, which is here. By default, CC has many options. Often, one of them, the O option, allows us to choose the name of the file containing the executable program. For example, if you want to execute the executable version of pon.c to be named pon, we will enter the following command: cc-o pon, and after that the name of the file. So if we do cc-o, so -o says give the executable name of a name, so I call it pon, and which one you want to compile is the pon.c file. So it will have the pon file in the folder. Okay. The GCC compiler. One of the most popular C compiler is the GCC compiler, which I use, by the way. I set up a shortcut to be able to use this. I will explain that to you after. Which is supplied with Linux, but it's available for many other platforms as well. Using this compiler is similar to using the traditional Unix CC compiler. For example, to compile the pon.c program, we will use the following command: gcc, okay, let me remove a and pon, and if we do gcc o pon.c, it will do the exact same thing, and we'll have the pon file. Okay. Maybe it's a stupid question, but I believe GCC. Whoa, what was that? Oh, Midori has an update. Okay, it removed the bar. Okay. GCC, the GCC. Okay. I have both installs. CLang, whatever, and GCC. Does let me see. Oh my god, what is the name? No. G9D. What is the name of the other compiler? GCC versus CLang. You see, .2. Oh, CLang. It's not a command. And that's it. Oh no, it's not the same thing. Or maybe it doesn't work the same way, I don't know. But I installed both because the LSP use CLang. So, but I will need to look at for that after. Trying to go too fast. Let me slow down a little bit. Okay, the Q&A section at the end of the chapter provides more information about GCC. Yeah, and I will have to look for the web page too. Oh, you have the manual here. Oh, okay, you have programming language for GCC. Okay, I have a lot of reading to do, guys. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Never-ending pursuit. It's kind of fun. Okay. Integrated development environment, IDE. So far, we've assumed the use of a command line compiler that invoked by entering the command in a special window provided by the operating system. The alternative is to use an integrated development environment, an IDE, a software package that allows you to edit, compile, link, execute, and even debug a program without leaving the environment. The Components of an IDE are designing to work together. For example, when the compiler detects an error in a program, it can arrange for the editor to highlight the line that contains the error. There is a great deal of variation amongst IDEs. No shit. So I won't discuss them further in this book. However, I would recommend checking to see which IDE are available for your platform. Vim, of course. What are you talking about? I have on my on my Instagram profile, you can put the gender, and in the gender, I made VI slash Vim. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. The general form of a single program. Let's take a closer look. Before continue to read that. So you can use GCC to compile like I showed you previously. So you just compile like this. But me, I wanted to, when I'm in the program, to be able to compile directly. I wanted to, when I press enter, that the program can compile directly. So what I did, I was looking for when I was trying to learn Python at one point, I stumbled upon an article when they were trying to configure Vim for Python, and there was a way to configure to compile directly into Vim, and this is what I did here. So yeah, at the time it was Python, and I had after that HTML, JavaScript, and you have here for C. So I use, when I press enter, it just clear the terminal and run GCC with C99, and I don't know what that, I think it's show all the errors, I believe. And yeah, but I asked him to create the file into the temporary folder, because I don't want to have multiple executable running around in my folders. So basically I'm putting the, what's the term before the horse? I don't remember the term, but if I press enter, it will just compile directly into it. So I can press enter to go back to the file I was currently editing. And if you look here, no, let me remove this pawn, open it, and if I press enter, it will compile it, but it doesn't appear here. It's because it is in the temp folder. That's how I set it up. So just a parenthesis. Okay, so let's take a closer look. Another thing, you will see during my videos that I try to go way faster than the book, trying to find some tips and tricks. Sometimes it's a good thing, but sometimes you just have to stick to the thing and take the time to follow the instruction. This is something I sometimes have hard time to do. I really want to learn as fast as I can, but yeah, this is I allow myself to set up some shortcuts and stuff like that, but I don't want to go over what I'm learning to not get to not include bad practice in the way I'm doing things. Basically what it is. So let's go. The general form of a simple program. Let's take a closer look at Pond.C and see how we can generalize it a bit. So simple program have the form int made void in parentheses and open and close bracket and statements. In these templates and in similar templates elsewhere. Oh, wait a second, guys. I have a call. Give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. That's what happened when you live. My girlfriend was asking me if I wanted something to eat. Okay, so let's continue. In this template and a similar template elsewhere in his book, items printed in Koei, it is the name of the font, will appear in a C program exactly as shown. Items in italic represent send text to be supplied by the programmer. Notice how the brace show where main begins and ends. C use open and close brackets in much the same way that other languages use words like begin and end. This illustrates a general point about C. It relies heavily on abbreviation and special symbols. One reason that C programs are concise or less charitably cryptic. Even the simplest C program rely on three key language features: directives, editing command that modify the program prior to compilation; functions, name blocks of executable code, of which main is an example; and statement, command to be performed when the program is run. We'll take a closer look at these features now. Directives. Okay, so before a C program is compiled, it is first edited by a preprocessor. Commands intended for the preprocessor are called directives. Chapter 14 and 15 discuss directives in detail. For now, we're interested in only the hashtag include directive. The .c program begins with the line hashtag include I'm not going to say the name of the symbol, it's ridiculous. Include stdio. This directive states that the information in stdio is to be included into the program before it is compiled. Stdio contains information about C's standard library, C's standard input-output library. C has a number of headers like stdio.h. Each contains information about some part of the standard library. The reason we're included stdio.h is that C, unlike some programming language, has no built-in read and write command. The ability to perform input-output is provided instead by function in the standard library. Okay. Directives always begin with the hashtag character. It is the real name in English. It is hashtag because I said hashtag because of Instagram, but maybe I'm saying total shit. Let me. Give me 1 second.
Croisillon.
What are you talking about?
Hash.
Oh no, it's the ash. So yeah, I'm polluted. My brain is polluted by Instagram. Okay, where I was. Okay, directives always begin with a hash character, which distinguish them from the other items in a C program. By default, directives are in one line long. There is no semicolon or other special markers at the end of a directive. Okay. Functions. Functions are like procedures or subroutine in other programming languages. They are the building blocks from which programs are constructed. In fact, a C program is little more than a collection of functions. Functions fall into two categories: those written by the programmers and those provided as a part of the C implementation. I will refer the latter as library functions, since they belong to a library of functions that are supplied by the compiler. Okay. The term function comes from mathematics, where a function is a rule for computing a value where given one or more arguments. Okay, fx x plus 1 and g and y is z. Okay. And that's another thing too. I didn't say that in my previous stream, but I also learning more advanced mathematics. Excuse me. Because some of the stuff I want to make will require some knowledge in linear algebra, and let me tell you something, I don't know shit. I didn't practice math since I was in university, and yeah, for what I want to do, I will really need to learn some pretty good mathematics. So I'm using Khan Academy for that, and maybe in some live stream I will do some math lesson, you know. So I really want to document all that journey. I believe it's going to be extremely fun for me, and a really nice way to maybe in some years, if YouTube still stay there, I'll show to my kids, hey, watch when I begin to learn how to program and learn math. I relearn math. I sucked at the beginning, and after that I was much better. So I don't know. Okay, let's continue. C uses the term function more loosely. In C, a function is simply a series of statements that have been grouped together and given a name. Some functions compute a value, some don't. A function that computes a value uses the return statement to specify what value it returns. For example, a function that had 1 to its arguments might execute the statement return x plus 1. Okay. Okay. I try to see, give me 1 second. What? So basically here, instead of, but how, okay, I'm gonna, I'm sure they're gonna teach me that along the book. Sorry, you're gonna hear me rumbling a lot of times. It's because sometimes I'm thinking loudly, so don't worry about that. Okay. While a function that computes the difference of the squares of its argument might execute the statement return y times y minus z times z. Although a program may consist of many functions, only the main function is mandatory. Main is special. It gets called automatically when the program is executed. Until chapter 9, we will learn where we'll learn how to write other functions. Main will be the only function in our program. Okay, so basically main is the shit, and everything that goes inside is executed. The name main is critical. It can be begin or starts or even main. If main is a function, does it return a value? Yes, it returns a status code that is given to the operating system when the program terminates. Let's take another look at pon.c. Okay. So pon, right, it include stdio.h, it main void, open brackets, print f, parentheses, double quote. To see or not to see, that is the question. So the inverse slash n is to go to the next line. So we end the double quote and the parentheses. And return 0, okay. The word int just before main indicate that the main function return an integer value. The word void in parentheses indicate the main has no arguments. Okay. That's if void means return no argument, why not kept int main? Can you write int main without the void? If I remove that, oh shit. What? Oh, I have to go at the beginning of the word. Yeah, it is still working. But what is the difference between int main and int main void? What is the difference? I don't get it. Because it is much simpler to write. Can I have this answer with ChatGPT? Hell no. Int main versus int main void. Hey, I say no, I don't want GPT answer. Never. Thank you very much. Geek for geeks. Geeks for geeks. Difference between int main and int main void in C and C++. That was true for older version of C, but has begin to change in C11 in newer version. In newer version, foo is the same as foo void. Okay, so basically it is relevant for me because I'm learning with C89 and C99, but C11 it's the same shit. Okay. C11 is there C11 books? Modern C programming. Whoa, what is that? Don't show this again. Don't show this again. C programming. Effective C second edition. Let us. Oh, C23. Okay. Another book I have to buy. I'm gonna spend so much money. That's crazy. Okay, so considering the following two definitions of main. You have its main here and its main void here, both return 0. What is the difference? In C++ there is no difference. Both are the same. Both definitions work in C also, but the second definition with the void is considered technically better, as it clearly specifies that the main can only be called without any parameters. In C, if a function's signature doesn't specify any argument, it means that a function can be called with any numbers of parameters, without any parameters. For example, try to compile and run the following 2C program. Okay. Output code, no output. Output of C++, okay, example number 2. Too many arguments. Wait a second, output, void from void, void. Okay, let me void return 0. And if you use void arguments, unlike the latest example, this example failed in compilation above C. Above, okay. From the above, we can conclude that in C++, both fun and fun void are the same. So the difference is in C. Its main can be called with any number of arguments. but its main void can only be called without any argument. Although C does make any difference, most of the time using the void is a recommended practice. Okay. Okay. Okay, it is ambiguity. Okay, the main difference is void. Yeah, okay. Basically, if you use its main without void, you basically said we can accept anything, if I understand correctly. But if you put void, you really specified no, this cannot take any arguments. So, but as it said here, it is in C11 and newer, it is the same. So I have to keep that in mind. Because of course I'm gonna try to write as much res and C possible. But it is better, The reason why I chose this book and I didn't choose a more recent version of C, it's because it's better to understand from an older version of the language so you can understand what was added before and you can revert back, especially if you are, for whatever reason. I don't believe that this will happen to me because first, I don't plan to become a developer, and I want to use C only for my own project, so I will use the most latest version of the program. But if for whatever reason I have to use, for example, there is maybe someone who make a function or plugin or something that I can use, but it is written in C99, for example, I want to be able to take that and modernize it if I need to. So that's basic. That is the basic concept of learning the very core fundamentals at the very core, so you can modify and expand everything that come after that. That's basically what it is. But I have to keep that in mind. Okay. So the word int just before main indicate that the main function returns an integer value. The word void in parentheses indicate the main has no arguments. The statement return 0 has two effects. It causes the main function to terminate, thus ending the program, and it indicates that the main function returns a value of 0. We'll have more to say about the main's return value in later chapter. For now, we always have main return the value 0, which indicates normal program termination. If there is no return the statement at the end of the main function, the program will still terminate. However, many compiler will produce a warning message because the function was supposed to return an integer but failed to. So if I delete that, it will still work. If I oh, it is still working. Yeah, because this is the first version of how C was written. Return type defaults ints. Okay. So yeah. So okay. Statement. A statement is a command to be executed when the program runs. We'll explore statements later in this book, primarily in chapter 5 and 6. The Pond.C program uses only two kinds of statements. One is the return statement, the other is the function call. Asking a function to perform its assigned task is known as calling of the function. A Pun.c program, for example, calls the printf function to display a string on the screen. Printf to see or not to see, that is the question. C requires that each statement ends with a semicolon. As with any good rule, there is no exception. The compound statement, which we'll encounter later. The semicolon shows the compiler where the statement ends. Since statements can continue over several lines, it's not always obvious where they end. Directives, on the other hand, are normally one line long, and they don't end with a semicolon. Okay, this is a lot to understand right now. Printing string. Printf is a powerful function that we'll examine in chapter 3. So far, we've only used printf to display a string literal, a series of characters enclosed in double quotation mark. Okay. When prints display a string literal, it doesn't show the quotation mark. Printf doesn't automatically advance to the next output line when it finished printing. To instruct printf to advance one line, we must include print /n, the new line character, in the string to be printed. Writing a new line character terminates the current output line subsequent. Wait a second. Writing a new line character terminates the current output line. Subsequent output goes on to the next line. To illustrate this point, consider the effects of replacing the statements. Printf to see or not to see, that is the question, by to call of printf. To see or not to see, that is the question. Okay, let's try it. To see or not to see. Woo! Where are we going? That is the question. Oh shit. To see or not to see. Wait a second. Let me reread that again. Printf doesn't automatically advance to the next output line. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's basically it. So in this example, because printf doesn't go automatically when it finished to print to the next line, to demonstrate that the author are asking you to do to printf so you can realize when you print. Let me put a space here. It will keep it on the same line. That's basically it. So that's good to know. Okay. So yeah, you can have multiple. I can duplicate that. Wait a second. Oh, that's why. Oh. I didn't understand why. Oh my god. Okay, if I, it's still, yeah, it's still gonna stay on the same line. Okay. Okay. The first call of printf writes to see or not to see. The second call writes, that is the question, and advance to the next line. Oh yeah, because I have the invert /n. The net effect is the same as the original printf. The user can tell the difference. The new line character can appear more than once in a string literal. To display the message, brevity is the soul of wit, Shakespeare. We could write brevity is the soul of wit, Shakespeare. Well, let's do that. Shakespeare. Okay, so let me okay. Brevity is the soul of wit. Okay, and I'll go after that. Shakespeare. If I press enter. Okay. Shakespeare. That's it. Okay. Okay. And something I just realized. Why you have a space character here? Did I include it somewhere? Oh, maybe it's there. I included here. Yes, okay. Okay. So comments. How Pwn.c program still lacks something important. Documentation. Every program should contain identifying information, and this is where I go. What is the expression? What is the expression? Quotes before the horses. Put the cart before the horse. Yeah, that's where I put the cart before the horse. I was this is something I like to do. I like to sometimes when I'm gonna read a book, I try to skim it as much as possible to see some interesting part and maybe sometimes implement it before I learn what it is, and that's exactly what I did for the comments here. So yeah. Okay, every program should contain identifying information. The program name, the date written, the author, the purpose of the program, and so forth. That's why I create this here. To have the book, the edition, the publisher, the author, the dates. Oh, I forgot the dates. Today's date is 24. 6, 7, 24. That's weird. Why? Okay. 24. And this information is placed in comments. The symbol slash what's the name? I really need to learn the name of the symbols in English. Oh damn! Every time. Let's go, man. give it to me. What's going on? What is going on? Asking me for consent. What the hell? Give me 1 second, guys.
Asterisk.
Asterisk. Okay. So, slash asterisk, this is comment asterisk slash. Comments may appear almost anywhere in a program, either one separate lines or on the same line as the other program text. Here's what pun might look like with comments added at the beginning. Name, pun, purpose, print the bad pun, prints the bad pun, auto key. Yeah, this is basically what I start from. I start to customize it. Okay, comments may extend over more than one line. Once it has seen the slash asterisk symbol, the compiler reads and ignores whatever follows until it encounter another asterisk slash. That's why in the program I have because it is the first one, you have the slash and the asterisk here, and it is going to look for this one at the end. That's why I was able to format the program like this. And I use text to ASCII to be able to have this here. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, a comment like this can be hard to read though, because it's not easy to see where the command ends. Putting asterisk slash on one line, on a line by itself helps. Okay, I can understand. Yeah, this is when you put it like this, it becomes more a visual cue, so you know where the command ends basically. For me, for example, because I don't use syntax highlighting, so it will be wiser for me when I have a multi-line comments to have this type of approach. The reason I didn't did it here is because I know this is the line of this is the header of the file. So not the header. It's not the same thing in C. This is the header file. The comment at the top of the file. So information, basically. So yeah, this is it right here. Programmers often simplify boxed comment by omitting 3 of the slide. Okay. A short comment can go on the same line with other program made one. Yeah, so basically you can have, sorry guys, gonna have here beginning of main program. And yeah. Oh, I made a mistake here. This is the one that's to see or not to see. That is the question. The bad one. Oh shit. Okay. A comment like this is sometimes called a whinge comment. Whinge. What whinge means? I don't think it's winged the term. Oh my god, what's going on with the, give me 1 second, let me start it. Translate. You're asking me for, oh, maybe it's because it's blocked here. No, not even. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Asking me for a consent I can see. Let me open. Gonna stay with
Winged.
winged. Not winged, she's winged. Like a wing. Okay. A winged comments. Yeah, because it is on the side, so it is considered as a wing. That's funny. Okay. Forgetting to terminate comments may cause the compiler to ignore part of your program. Consider the following. Forgot. Yeah, okay, I can understand. So if this is written like this, only print my only this will be print. The rest it will be considered as a comments until, no, not even that. This will be printed. Those two one will be considered as a comment, and because you have the end, the asterisk slash here at the end, this will be printed. Let's try this. I'm gonna just run a quick one comment. Let's see. Include include, what the hell? Include. Why do I have, what is that? What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know what that means. So if you have printf, you have my here, forgot to close these comments, and here if I put cats as and flee, yeah, it's gonna print my fleas. Okay, I put it here. So it ends here. That flea. So if I print that, oh, I have a. Oh, it prevents me to print it. I cannot print it. Function once. because we neglected to compile ignores middle to statement. My fleas. So basically, it should have ignored the. It should have included this one in the comments, but maybe because I use the LSP, it forces me to look at it within comments, so it's not gonna compile. Okay, but basically the concept was, so because it is not close here, and it catches the next asterisk slash, it will skip and prints my fleas basically. Okay. Okay. So C99 provide a second kind of comment which begin with the double slash. Two adjacent slashes. This is a comment. Okay. This style of comment automatically ends of a line. To create comments that's more than one line long, we can either use the older comment style with the asterisk or puts a double slash at the beginning of each comment. No, I prefer the old style. So if I go to pawn, if you use one line comments instead of using the asterisk, you're gonna use that and remove that. So it's gonna produce the exact same thing. And if you want to have multiple lines, it's better to start with the slash asterisk and asterisk slash to the end. Yeah, I don't like this. Okay, the newer comment style has a couple of important advantages. First, because a comment automatically ends at the end of a line, there is no chance that an unterminated comment will accidentally consume part of a program. Second, multi-line comments stand out better thanks to the double slashes that's required at the beginning of the line. Yeah. Okay, I can see. For example, here. Well, I can see it. If, for example, if I take all that, and replace with a slash. Okay. Slash here and remove that. Yeah, I can see it. Okay. I don't like it for the main description of the file. But for inside the program, yes, maybe use it inside the program. Or not. I don't know. I don't know. I prefer to keep it for a one-liner like this because it is much more convenient. But I prefer this format because it is more versatile to me. I don't have to double slash all the time. You just enter this in the beginning, you write everything you have to write, and you end up with the slash asterisk and you're done. It's much more efficient to me. Visually, this catching in the eye is more, but most people right now use syntax highlighting, so comment just change color, you can see it right away. But for me, I was not using it right now. No, I am okay with this formatting instead. I prefer it. Okay. Oh, there is something I didn't realize. Oh, I didn't press record on the stream to record as a MP4, but I will do that afterward. No worries. So where am I? Variable and assignment. Few programs are as simple as the one in section 2.1. Most programs need to perform a series of calculations before producing output, and thus need a way to store that data temporarily during program execution. In C, as most programming languages, these storage locations are called variables. Type. Every variable must have a type, which specifies what kind of data it will hold. C has a wide variety of types. For now, we'll limit ourselves to just two, int and floats. Choosing the proper type is critical since the type affects how the variable is stored and what operation can be performed on the variable. The type of a numeric variable determines, sorry for my English, this is very bad, the largest and smallest number that the variable can store. It also determines whether or not digits are allowed after the decimal point. A variable of type int, short for integers, can store a whole number such as 0, what it is, 1000, no, 0, 1, how do you say that in how do you say decimal in English? I don't remember. If it is 1000 of 1.3, 30, I don't know. I don't remember. How do you say that in English? For example.
1392.
Yeah, the comma is for 4000s. 1392 or minus 2553. The range of possible values is limited though. The largest int value is typically 2 billion 147,483,648, but it can be as small as 32,767. A variable of type float, short for floating point, can store much larger number than the int variable. Furthermore, a float variable can store numbers with digits after the decimal point, like 379.125. Float variable have drawbacks, however. Arithmetics on float numbers may be slower than arithmetics on integers numbers. Most significantly, the value of a float variable is often just an approximation of the number that was stored in it. If we store 0.1 in a float variable, we may later find that the variable has a value such as 0.099999988 thanks to rounding errors. Okay. There is a lot. Okay. Declaration. Variable must be declared described for the benefit of the compiler before they can be used. To declare a variable, we first specify the type of the variable, then its name. Variable names are chosen by the programmer subject to the rule described in section 2.7. For example, we might declare variables 8 and profit as follow. Int 8 float profit. Okay. This first declaration states that the 8 is a variable of type int, meaning that 8 can be stored as an integer value. The second declaration says that profit is a variable of type float. If several variables have the same type, their declaration can be combined. Int 8 length with volume float. Okay, so basically instead of having where do you declare? Oof, I don't know. Let me instead of having int 8 I don't know if it's no, it's maybe it's comma int length and so on. Instead of having that, because it is the same type, you can just directly put it here. But you cannot, for example, do int 8 and float. No, it's not that. You cannot, for example, say int 8 and length, and after that assign a float to length. It's not going to be the same type, and I believe it will return an error. So let me see something. Oh, the program seems to work. So if, for example, I declare maybe here length equals 234. What? It's still working? I don't know what that means here. I really need to learn how to use the DLSP in Vim. I don't know what that means. But basically, it gives me a warning because the length is an integer. But if I put 2, everything is okay. If I put floats, oh, interesting. Float doesn't return anything. No error. Why? That's weird. I will look after that. I will look after that later. Okay, if several variables have the same type, so we can declare everything in one line. Notice that each complete declaration ends with a semicolon. Our first template for main didn't include declaration. When main contains declaration, these must be preceded of statements. Okay. As well, in chapter 9, this is true of function in general, as well as block statement that contain embedded declaration. As a matter of style, it's a good idea to leave a blank line between the declaration and statement. In C99, declaration don't have to come before statement. For example, main might contain a declaration, then a statement, and then another declaration. For compatibility with older compiler, the program in this book don't take advantage of this rule. However, it is common in C++ and Java program not to declare variable until they are first needed. So this practice can be expected to become popular in C99 program as well. basically what he's saying is if you need in if I understand correctly, for example, if I need integer 8 here, if I want to use a variable 8 in my program, in all the C program, I have to declare it before where am I? Did I jump it? Wait a second. I did something. Where was I? Yeah. It's mean I need to put it before here. Let me read that again. Yeah, that's exactly that. So in other version of C2, the variable has to be declared before at the top basically of the program, so you can use it. But in newer version, you can declare the variable anywhere in the program as you need it, basically. So do I agree with that, with this type of convention? Yeah, I am more on the older C style, to declare everything you're gonna need, to declare all the variable before using them, because first of all, everything is at the same place. So if you have to look up for the variable to you can directly look at the top of the file, instead of having to look into the program if you declare something. Yeah, it is. I prefer to declare everything before I can use it. So it requires you to plan your program basically correctly. So yeah, but I will look after that. I will look for that after. So okay. You know what, guys? I think I'm gonna stop here because I'm already late. I have things I have to go do to do. I have things to do, so I have to go, and I have to reread some parts. I understand most of it, but I have to research for some definition. But yeah, what I returned for today is how a C program is basically structured. So now with the new version of C, you have to specify the type of main and specified void to if you want to say that the main function will don't accept arguments. This is practice in older version of C, but in C11 and after that, you avoid putting void here and putting nothing does it has the exact same behavior. Printf is a built-in function, so that is not it's not that it's not provided by C, but C doesn't have it built in. So you have a series of function library you can use to create your program, and I believe you can. It is in a man page. If I do printf, yeah, basically it. So you can access the manual of the function to understand how to use it, basically. So yeah, the only thing I retain for this stream is I have a lot of work to do. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Oh yes, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So for now, the stream is gonna be pretty short, but as I advance in the stream, it will be longer and longer. I plan to do a minimum 2 to 4 hour stream every day in September during the entire year to learn as much as I can, as fast as I can from C. So I will have to wake up really early to do that. But yeah, I have enough to research for today. So yeah, thank you for watching the stream, guys, and see you for the next one.